All right. We're going back to basics, kind of, here with Alien the Cold Forge. Now, Alien the Cold Forge came out in 2018. It's written by Alex White, our first non binary author for the Alien series. And Alex White brings a unique perspective to sort of a been there, done that story, but a been there, done that story I think we needed for this franchise because it's been a mess for a while. Starting with Out of the Shadows, we had bland story with Ripley shoehorned in there for no real reason. Then Sea of Sorrow was a piece of garbage. River of Pain, step in the right direction, had some nice continuity with an older Dark Horse comic, but overall still kind of sucked. Get the Rage War, which the Rage War is a great thing, but it's a very weird thing. Then, of course, we got Alien Covenant Origins, a book that didn't have aliens in it. Being called Alien, I don't know why it was there. With D-list characters from Alien Covenant. It was not worth anyone's time to read. Then we had Alien Covenant, the novelization, which just kind of felt phoned in. And then Alien Echo, which is so bad I refuse to review it. So we get to the Cold Forge. Cold Forge, first time reading it through, I hated it. It's written in third person present tense. We all know I can't stand that. Reminded me of Aftermath. A little better than, quite a bit better than Aftermath, but most things are. It had characters that I didn't like. And I went to review this, and my review was so negative, I said, I scrapped it. Shot it twice, scrapped both of them. And I didn't plan to review this. But, you know, when I did my review of River of Pain, I thought, well, I have the Cold Forge, might as well revisit that, and I reread it. And I didn't hate it this time around, but it has its issues. So we're going to get into what the Cold Forge is. The Cold Forge is a Weyland-Yutani facility in the middle of space where they work on like computer viruses and corporate espionage, and of course weaponizing the xenomorph, because what a safe thing to do. Weaponize the xenomorph. It's gone well so many times for these people. But yep, they're working on weaponizing the xenomorph, specifically with Dr. Blue Marsalis. Now, Blue Marsalis is an interesting character where she is falling apart, basically. It's the best way of putting it. She has a degenerate disease that has caused her to not be able to walk anymore or even digest food. Go to the bathroom for herself. Like, she has a terrible quality of life. She has to use like this VR headset to control Marcus, the synthetic. Where Marcus, she basically lives through him, where like, and uses quote unquote his white privilege, which we didn't need that, but okay, I guess we can put that in there. She had a relationship with Ann Wexler, the head of security, which brings up a whole interesting question of is Ann actually attracted to Blue, or is she attracted to Marcus, which leads us. We all know how banging synthetics goes in the Alien series. You know, it leads to all sorts of issues. But Weyland-Yutani sends their most ruthless auditor, who is Dorian Sudler. Dorian Sudler is the biggest piece of garbage that has ever been in a book. I mean, my God, he's awful. He's racist, he's misogynistic, he's a sociopath. He'll do anything to get what he wants. He literally, it opens with him. I thought he was going to be our protagonist. I was mortified. It opens with him dealing with a suicide claim and making sure that his family didn't get the person who died's family doesn't get any of the insurance policy. Which is $1 million policy. So we know that he just is in it for the money and taking other people's money away. Well, he's there to assess these programs. Meanwhile, we have some corporate espionage, and a virus is basically let loose in the computer system for the Cold Forge, uh, unleashing the Xenomorphs. We don't know who is responsible for this, but we do find out eventually. I won't spoil that. And hilarity ensues. And we get into our by the numbers alien story of Xenomorphs running amok on a space station. What did I think? Like I've said, for my negatives, it's written in the third person present tense. I don't care for that. I don't like stories like that. However, I can admit this is done so much better than the Star Wars Aftermath trilogy. There's no constant interludes every other chapter. But we have a lot of useless characters. I named 4. They're the 4 that kind of pretty much matter. There's some other characters throughout, but they're kind of worthless and not necessary. There's this Australian guy who talks about growing up in the outback. Useless. Just a worthless character. But we deal with some interesting things in this book. Some interesting themes, one of which I did bring up, which is the whole sexuality aspect of this story, which is like, is she even attracted to Blue? Is she just attracted to Blue's mind? What is sexuality? You know, that's brought up in an Alien book. I didn't expect that. But Aliens always push the envelope of what to expect from a story. I mean, my mom told me when she saw Alien in the theater back in '79, she was shocked that Ripley survived at the end. Because up until that point, pretty much the final girl thing wasn't a thing yet. Halloween had done it the year previously, but that wasn't the norm of having a female survivor at the end. So she thought when Dallas kicked the bucket that they were all gonna die. So Alien, I expect this from Alien to a degree, to push the envelope. The issues though with this, like we have an android losing his mind. I won't explain why, but it's a pretty traumatic thing that happens. Our android is Marcus sentient? Like, what's up with that? But we have issues. Mainly, Dorian is comically evil. I explained how he's a racist and he's like a sociopath and he's misogynistic. But he starts to relate to the Xenomorphs, and it's too much. It takes you out of the story. It gave me a laugh both times reading through this. He's so comically evil. And Blue isn't a good person either, which is okay. You can have protagonists that aren't good, but they have to be interesting. And there isn't enough about Blue's personality that's interesting, at least in this. See in the future fleshing out Blue's character more, she could be more interesting. And she gave me a vibe of, if you've all ever read Star Wars Knight Errant, she gave me a Kara Holt vibe. But Kara in that is kind of a been there done that character and is very boring, but like there's other interesting things that happen around her, and I got this from Blue. It was, I don't know with this book. This was one of these reviews where like I was intimidated to do it. I've put this off for a hot minute since my reread, about a month. And I still don't know how to approach this. I liked it enough, but it's not enough to really like save the Alien series. The next book in this does, but it's a step in the right direction. So overall, I'd rank this 3.9 out of 5. It does a lot of things well, but it's a little too much. It's like this book bit off more than it could chew. There's some great new things added, there's some great old things added, but with the writing style and all the themes that don't really go anywhere, yeah, I have to dock it. I'm glad I reread it though. So join me next time as we review Alien Isolation. Have a good one.